colleagues from the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. My name is Margaret Nambweru-Mioba, Permanent Secretary in charge of Administration in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of the Republic of Zambia. I wish to welcome you to this courteous call on Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, President of the Republic of Zambia, by the Honorable Vice President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Kenneth David Mohadi, retired.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency. My name is Kembo Muleya Mohadi, the Vice President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, and I'm also a retired colonel. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. My name is Charity Charamba, the Zimbabwe ambassador to Zambia, and also permanent representative to COMESA. And good afternoon, Honorable Vice President. Thank you, sir.
With your permission, Mr. President, allow me now to invite the Honorable Vice President of the Republic of Zimbabwe to deliver his remarks. Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, I would like to thank you very much for receiving me this afternoon, despite your busy schedule. I was received well in the Republic of Zambia, and I bring warm fraternal greetings from your brother, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa. Your Excellency, I'm here in Zambia, which is my second home. I first set foot here in 1971 as a young man who had come to train for the liberation of the country. Now I'm an old man who is getting bald-headed. I would like to commiserate with the people of Zambia following the demise of the former president, His Excellency Dr. Chagwa Lungu. I recall that the Vice President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, General retired Dr. CGD Chiwenga, was assigned by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Mnangagwa, to come and pay condolences to you, Mr. President, and the government and the people of the Republic of Zambia. May his soul rest in peace. Mr. President, I acknowledge with sincere gratitude the shared historical ties of the struggle for sovereignty and fight against the colonialism that long established the excellent and enduring friendship that exists between the two sister republics. It is both an honor and a duty to reflect on our shared legacy, especially regarding the sacred sites that bear testimony of our nation's sacrifices. It is therefore important that we as Zimbabweans, especially in this month of August, pay tribute to our fallen heroes. And it is a holiday in Zimbabwe, especially the second week of Zimbabwe becomes a holiday. So hence, I am also here. I am coming from Angola, where I visited Mushiko province, where more than 400 Zimbabwean combatants lost their lives and were buried in a mass grave in a place called Boma. We intend to create or to build a shrine there that will commemorate the fallen comrades in Angola. I have been here before when I was still Minister of Home Affairs, and we managed to identify some places where our heroes were actually massacred by the Smith regime. And we did construct some mass graves there. And it is therefore now important that we come back and see as to whether we are looking after them properly. And if there is any rehabilitation that is to take place, we do that rehabilitation. Hence my tour of your country. Well, I've been to Dr. Kaunda's house, where the history of your fight against the colonialist is actually tabulated. They walked us through how the whole thing went about, and I was very much impressed because I lived some part of that history myself. We also went to Chitepo's house, where he was actually bombarded by the enemy. From there, then I visited Nampundwe out there, where we have about 200 cadres or combatants that were actually murdered on that fateful day. We have actually constructed some mass graves there, but they need attention and they need to be rehabilitated. From here, I will be going to Angola. From here, I will be going to Tanzania, where I intend to visit quite a number of areas where we trained. And thereafter, then I will proceed to Mozambique. But before I leave your country, I will be going to Mulungushi Shrine. I will also touch St. Mary's Cemetery, and also Mukushi. At St. Mary's, 14 out of 15 Zambian officers who lost their lives helping Zebra forces were actually buried. The places hold a significant place in our collective history and the liberation struggle of Southern Africa. May I inform you, Mr. President, that Zimbabwe actually constructed tombstones for the 14 graves at St. Mary's and is desirous to do the same for Constable Chishala, who was buried in Mansa, his home village. Mr. President, I recall that Comrade Percy Ntini, a Zimbabwean fighter who played a pivotal role in Zimbabwe's fight for independence, died in a car accident in Zambia and was buried at Shongwe area. I know that he is sleeping peacefully in this country because the Republic of Zambia is home to us. Some of us grew up here. Our shared liberation struggle was paramount in shaping our resilience as African people, and also our culture and heritage and our unity that exists. Zimbabwe appreciates Zambia's unwavering support during our darkest hours and reiterate that this will forever be etched in our collective memory as Zimbabweans. I commend the strides made over the years in terms of cooperation between our two countries and express optimism that the proposed elevation of the Joint Permanent Commission to a bi-national commission will inject impetus into the implementation of joint projects and programs. I should here recognize the strategic importance of Africa's Agenda 63 and the African Continental Free Trade Area, encouraging local production and regional collaboration to build resilient economies on the continent. I applaud and encourage the continuation of high-level exchange visits between the two countries, and that the convening of the Zambia mid-term review scheduled for September is carried out and is so important to us all. We appreciate that Zambia's unwavering support during Zimbabwe's darkest hours will forever be etched in our collective memory. We commend Zambia support for the call for the removal of illegal sanctions that were imposed on Zimbabwe by some Western countries. We assure you, Mr. President, of Zimbabwe's unwavering position to continue to work closely with Zambia at regional, continental, and international fora to advance the common aspirations of the two countries. We thank the Republic of Zambia for hosting over 10,000 Zimbabwean students who are living peacefully in Zambia while undertaking their studies. In conclusion, Mr. President, I would encourage us as the two nations to continuously nurture the spirit of Pan-Africanism and regional cooperation, working together to build a brighter future for the people of Zimbabwe and Zambia. Mr. President, I wish you in person and the people of the Republic of Zambia good health and prosperity. And once again, I appreciate the warm hospitality extended to me and my delegation. Long live the spirit of unity and cooperation between Zambia and Zimbabwe. I thank you.
Mr. President, allow me to now invite the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of the Republic of Zambia to deliver his remarks. I thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Your Excellency, the Vice President. Mr. President, maybe just to update you, Mr. President, Your Excellency, on the steps that we are continuing to make, strengthening by day to day our bilateral relations with our sister country, our neighbors, with our shared history together, Zimbabwe. In terms of the elevation of the relationship, Mr. President, as His Excellency, His Honor, the Vice President has mentioned, a lot of work has been put in at technical level to elevate the relationship between Zambia and Zimbabwe to the Binational Commission, as per the instructions from you, our heads of state. Following the midterm review, we believe that we'll be able to schedule the actual holding of the Binational Commission meeting. So this has made significant progress, Mr. President, and of course the idea is once the relationship is elevated, then it means that we'll be able to work more diligently under your direct instructions as the heads of state on the various areas of cooperation between our two countries. So I wanted to just update you, Mr. President, on that, and thank you, Your Excellency, for having mentioned it. Mr. President, also in terms of outside of the bilateral relationship, we are also working very closely in the regional as well as the broader multilateral space. For example, we just came from a SADC meeting where His Excellency President Mnangagwa was handing over the chairmanship, and we were able to showcase the work that we have been doing together in the regional space, Mr. President. In the multilateral space, we are constantly working close to lobby for some of the outcomes that His Excellency, the Vice President, just mentioned. We are talking continuously, for instance, at Commonwealth on the matter of the sanctions and the lifting of those sanctions. So, in a nutshell, Mr. President, we are working very closely at technical level and ministerial level, as well as, of course, I'm aware at the level of your Excellencies, the heads of state, to keep this strengthening, growing our relationship with our sisterly country, Zimbabwe, from strength to strength. Mr. President, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, PS. First and foremost, I want to welcome you, Vice President Mohadi, and your team, Ambassador and the rest of the team, to State House, to Lusaka, to Zambia. We're delighted to have you here. When I was informed you are in the country, I did ask my team to create space so that we could have this engagement. So let me also acknowledge the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Minister of Tourism and our senior colleagues who are in this meeting today. Your Honor, the Vice President, to start with, I want to express our gratitude on behalf of the government and the people of Zambia for your message of condolences on the passing on of our 6th Republican President. When he passed on, shortly afterwards, my elder brother, President Mnangagwa, sent the Vice President Chiwenga here, and he passed on the President's message of condolences on behalf of the government and the people of Zimbabwe. And subsequently, we've had engagements, including by our officials, different levels, plus the President and I have spoken over this unfortunate development. And now yourself, you brought or added on to that message. Please pass our appreciation to President Mnangagwa for consoling us. We are hoping that, as you know, we have some impasse going on around the burial of our 6th President. And we have a tradition here, a legal one as well, established by the people of Zambia through different pieces of legislation, but also practice that presidents, whether we like it or not, those of us who sit in this chair, get buried in one place called the Heroes Place, Embers Park. We call it Embers. See, I'm thinking of Zimbabwe. We call it Embers Park. So all the 5 presidents before my predecessor are lying there. And we hope that we can continue that tradition, the decision made by the people of Zambia. If you ask me personally, do I like that place? I don't like it. But there's limited choice that we have once we take the decision to occupy this office. I'm saying this to you so that we could give you context to why there's this impasse. So the most important thing is that we hope to resolve it. Our team is there. They're engaging the family. And any support, Your Honor, we can get from family members such as yourselves would be appreciated to help us put closure to this unfortunate situation. Vice President Mohadi, I want to reiterate what you've said, what the Minister of Foreign Affairs has said, that Zambia and Zimbabwe are truly one family. Truly one family. Those that led our two countries before us have carried on that tradition, that recognition that we are one. Not just bonded by history of colonial heritage, but truly, yes, the history, having been one country at some point, Federation of Rhodesia and Nyasaland. But before that, our people have always been one. They've been one. If you look at trading routes for us, in Ngombelede, in Siavonga, around Chirundu, the route was cutting through across the river onto Zimbabwe. And it's a route that is well known in history. It's a route our two peoples walked on for centuries. So we are truly one, Vice President. And we share a lot in common, in addition to people, even bloodlines. Bloodlines. Education. You've just mentioned of the Zimbabwean students studying in Zambia, but there are a number of Zambians studying in Zimbabwe. But before your independence, as you know, this University of Zambia has been a university for many Zimbabweans. President Mnangagwa went to the same university as myself, of course, much earlier than me. President Mnangagwa lived here, like yourself. President Mugabe was a lecturer at Chalimbana College, somewhere close to where you went today. You went to Chongwe? Where did you go today? Today you didn't go anywhere. Yesterday. President Mugabe was a lecturer there for many years. Joshua Nkomo lived around here. When his house was bombed, it was around the State House, this side actually. So the story goes on, but for the younger Zimbabweans, younger Zambians, these two countries are like Siamese twins. And we ought to manage them like that going forward. The sites, I've looked at your program, the sites you are visiting, as the Zimbabwean freedom struggle heroes were being killed, they were dying alongside Zambians, literally alongside Zambians. And the graves, shrines you're visiting, housing Zimbabweans, housing Zambians. I grew up in an environment of neighbors, Zimbabwean origin neighbors. Some went back after independence, others stayed. There's a huge number of Zambian citizens who are of Zimbabwean origin here. So I've said to people before, my colleagues, that the two countries are inseparable. Where we grew up, we call the two countries by one name called Zimzam. Zimzam. That's the name we use. So, and it's not really like just a joke. It is real. So you are home here. Your mission is noble. And I can see your calendar is heavy. Angola. The place you went to, Mokshiko, shares the border with Zambia, as you know. It's one of the two provinces of Angola that share borders with Zambia. The places you are going to, and then you go to Tanzania. So we hope you'll be able to carry your routing safely, peacefully. But I return to the aspect of your trip being noble. This government will do what you need done from our part to support this mission. The ANC are doing similar things. As you know, they were headquartered here, African National Congress. President Ramaphosa asked me to provide the support for, in their case, they're actually exhuming some of the bodies. And we're working with them, cooperating. I think it's our duty. It's the barest minimum we can do, especially that you endure the pain together. When it was dangerous then, we were together. I think now it's much easier, except memories, feelings run deep. So my point is that you have our full support, and if you need something we are not aware of, make us aware, and we'll facilitate. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and other ministers, other departments are here, and I hope we are facilitating the Vice President's movements around, because it's a long trip. He needs to cover ground much quicker. So I think that's what I would like to say, Vice President Mohadi, on that. Area indicated President Mnangagwa was studied at the University of Zambia. I'll tell you a short story. One time we had a meeting in Botswana, 4 presidents. President Mnangagwa, President Mohai of Botswana, President Hakainde of Namibia, and myself. So I was the most junior amongst them. I was the newer president. So when we were done with our business, we started talking, pep talk a bit. And they were instructing me to run errands for them since I was the youngest and the most junior. So I said, well, look, after all, we are one family. There's only one misnomer amongst us, and that was President Masisi, because the 3 of us all had a common history of the University of Zambia. President Mnangagwa, President Gengo, and myself. So you can see, really, that this region beyond Zimbabwe and Zambia, we're one people. And let me cross over quickly to indicate that the things you talked about are correct. The issues of sanctions, I think the Foreign Minister touched on that. And we are all supportive to have the sanctions against Zimbabwe lifted. We want to see quick movement, Vice President, on the binational commission. I think some documentations have been reviewed. We want to see conclusion, Minister, so that we can get on with the job. We have a lot of work to do together. And that takes me to the economic front, that Zimbabwe and Zambia have a lot to do on the economic front. Development of our 2 countries' economies, infrastructure, Kariba Dam, power stations, given the climate change, negative effects of climate change, we need to do more to manage our common assets. And so we can derive more value from those assets, but also energy diversification, what you're doing on your coal, thermal power stations. Vice President, on our side of the border, we are doing the same, because that's a resource God gave us. I think nobody should tell us not to invest in the resource God gave us while we have no energy. The region is short of energy because of partially climate change. So I must say to you that some of our business colleagues are talking to your people there on how we can accelerate clean core technology in generating electricity. And I think it's the core resources we have should be available for power stations on both sides of the river, if necessary. And I would also want us to look at a couple of other joint assets that we have, but that's for our teams to work on. There's a lot on the table for Zambians and Zimbabweans to get on with a gainful work that will deliver economic benefits to both Zimbabwe and Zambia, to help us create jobs for our populations, business opportunities for our populations, businesses, and also to enhance our treasury incomes. So Vice President Mohadi, please take the message to my elder brother that we want to accelerate a lot more things on the economic front, and there are a lot of them. I think the issue of the liberation struggle, you've touched on that, and I did say that we are here to provide the support that is required. But one of the things that I would like to make an ask, Vice President, is to get our institutions on both sides of the river to really send some educational capacity building, or if you like, in our messaging, to get our young populations to understand the importance of our relationship, Zambia-Zimbabwe. I see that waning a little bit as years go by, which is normal. Maybe our educational institutions on both sides should, and probably part of the binational commission, we can try and work out, put in there some of the activities to include education, not just academic, intellectual education, but history, education around history, exchange tours for younger people, students from both sides of the river, so that we can retain this important knowledge, and that will allow us probably to maintain the love for each other, and after all, the heritage that we share. I want to end by concluding that should you want us to do certain things here over your mission, I repeat, we are here. My team, our team is here. And Ambassador, you know what to do. You just talk to your colleagues, and we will do what we need to do. Otherwise, Tatenda Zokanak.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, for those remarks, which actually go to augment or to cement the relationship between the two countries from time immemorial. And when we fought for our political independence, we were here, and we defeated the enemy together. Now we are embarking on another struggle, which is what you were saying, that our young people must be in a position to exchange notes. We have got a struggle before us, that is that one of economic independence. We are not economically independent yet. As you were rightly saying, that there are certain people that determine what we should do and what we should not do. So we should be in charge of our own resources. We should beneficiate whatever we have, so that whenever we sell to other people or we sell finished products, which is going to give a better return to our own people. So this is what we should be fighting together. The struggle is not over. It is still on, and it is true that we need to educate our young people as to what happened and what needs to be done. And we are doing that. You also mentioned that, well, if there is anything that we want the government of Zambia to assist with, we have already done so. Because tomorrow, is it tomorrow? Yes. Tomorrow we're going to Kabwe. You're actually providing helicopters for us to go to Kabwe. Yes. And then from there, then we will proceed to Mkushi. By the way, in Kushi, my brother lies there in that mass grave, the one I come after. Yes, he died there defending the young girls there. So, hence I say that our togetherness, our relationship is that one tide of blood. There's blood in it, and there's no one who can change it. No, there's no one who can change it. So I'm very, very, very happy to be here. My second home. I stayed at Livala Stage 3 for quite a long time. Still there. So I don't feel like I'm away from Zimbabwe when I'm here. I'm home. You can imagine how old I was in 1971 when I came here. He said he was not born yet.
These are kids. But they're big ministers.
Yeah, they're big ministers, but they should not carry it in their heads that they're big ministers. So, no, thank you very much. Everything is being done. We're being looked after very well. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. Zikomo kwambiri.
Zikomo. Just a light moment. Zikomo kwambiri. Twalumba. Yeah, twalumba logo. Just another historical part. President Netumbo Ndaitwa, President Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwa, lived in Livala, yeah, of Namibia. In Livala. Yeah. All the presidents of Namibia lived here. Gengob lived somewhere near university. President Ndaitwa, the new president, lived in Livala. Yeah, probably just didn't know each other, but she lived in Livala around the same time. Yeah, thank you very much.